friends, I'm back with a new tutorial. It's actually a revisitation of one of our old tutorials. I've been playing around with new beads that have arrived in the shop and with the Flora project that we've presented last summer. I don't know why, but I've been obsessed with flowers recently this summer, just like last. So I've been revisiting quite a few tutorials and making all beady projects with flowers. So I actually made this for me, and people saw it in the store and clients asked me to actually show them how to make it. So I thought I'd make a tutorial, just a quick one, to show you exactly how it differs from the original project. So first of all, let me show you the original project next to the new one. As you can see, the original project was made with size 11 Miyuki beads in round. Whereas here, I've actually used half crystals in our round, half flat faceted shape in the smaller size that we carry, which is 2 by 3 millimeters. So you get a slightly bigger necklace and it's a bit more funky and it's got definitely more sparkle. And the advantage of this is also that because the beads are bigger, you actually get to do much less work, because 40 flowers are actually sufficient to make a necklace. So it's actually even quicker to make than the original version. Start with the materials you will need. You will need size 10 beading needles. Then you will need the thread, which we will be using Wildfire Bead-along thread in white. This is actually a different thread from the original project. I will be using this thread because the half crystals can actually cut through the Fireline thread, which is the original one. So I've preferred using the Wildfire, which is a bit more resistant, and it's a size 0.15 millimeters as thickness, but it's the only thickness we carry, so you can't go wrong. I definitely suggest you invest in this kind of thread if you're gonna try out this new project, or if you're ever gonna do any projects with crystals. This is a thread that I usually use because Swarovski crystals or half crystals tend to cut through Fireline, and then all your work goes to waste. Then you will need our faceted crystals. We carry more than 40 colors in our shop. You will need 3 colors, 2 colors for the flowers, and 1 color for the center and spacer bead in between the flowers. So for the flower colors, you will need 120 pieces each. For the spacer color and central, which is the same one, as you can see in my sample, you will need 80 pieces. You will need some round size 11 Miyuki beads. A gram is more than enough because you need it for the closure of your necklace, as you can see here. And then of course you need a closer, so a lobster, clasp, and a jump ring. I'm actually using our stainless steel line, which is much more resistant, so that I can wear it anywhere and not have a problem with the coloring coming off or getting darker, and it's perfect. I love them. Start making our necklace. As you can see, I've already made mine. To start off, you will have to cut about 3 feet of thread, and you start off by adding a block bead and then one of the spacer beads, and then making your flowers. So I'll add one of the spacer beads because I've just finished one of the flowers. Mine is green, dark green in this colorway, which is opaque, light green, and pink. And then I have this darker green as the spacer and central bead. Then I have to add 4 beads of the color of the flower that I'm gonna make. And this is how it differentiates already from the original, because it was 5 in the original. So 4 beads, and another bead of the central, so the central bead for this new flower that we're making. I'm actually making already the 40th flower on the necklace. Here you go. And we pass back through, so my needle is going back towards my necklace, passing through just the first bead of the color of the flower. So this one, as you can see. Now we want to pull tightly. Again, these beads can cut through thread because they're more sharp. So pay attention when you're working, even with this thread that is more resistant. And at this point, you have to check that your half flower is close by to your spacer bead before finishing up the flower, because you don't want to have space in between the flower and the space bead. So pull until it's nice and tight. Then we add to the string 2 beads, again of the same color of the flower we're making. And the thread goes back, changing direction and passing through the 4th bead of the flower you've already added in the previous step, as you can see. Again, pull tightly. And that's our flower made. Now, if it happens that you have a bit of space, you can see that I can pull it a bit, but the easiest thing is opening up your flower, pulling on one side and then on the other, so that you make everything slide, because these beads tend not to slide as much as the seed beads, and you don't want to cut through your thread. So the easiest way is doing one step at a time and retracing your steps. There you go. Once you're satisfied, you add one of the separator beads again, so dark green for me. And we're ready to finish off our necklace, because I've already made all the 40 beads. So if you were making your necklace, you just keep adding flowers, alternating the 2 colors of flowers that you've picked for your beads, and separating them with a separator bead. Once you've reached the length, now my necklace is actually just a short necklace around that sits on my bone, around my neck. If you want a bigger version, you'll just have to keep adding more flowers. So now we can add the clasp on this side of the necklace. We're going to add 3 round beads, size 11, Miyuki. Then we're going to pass through the lobster clasp. I'm not adding my usual 7 beads in this case, because as you can see, the beads, the small seed beads, don't go through the hole of the lobster clasp. So we're going to use actually an even pair of beads so that my clasp can fall exactly in the center of the ring that I'll make with the beads. So I'll add another 3 seed beads, and I'll go back through my spacer bead. And I'm going to pull gently so that I make a loop with the seed beads, as you can see here. Now, I'm not going to go back through the same bead of the flower, but I'm actually going to go through it on the other side so that my spacer bead is actually positioned at the center of this flower, and so that the clasp is centered on the flower, like that. Then we're going to do a knot to close off the thread. Go back under the thread between 2 beads of the flower, you make a loop, go through the loop that you've made, pull your thread, and you've actually knotted your thread on the previous thread. Then we're going to go around this flower through all of the beads until we are back towards the loop, because I want to go back through the loop that I've just added with the seed beads to make sure that my clasp doesn't fall off. But by making the knot at this point, I've already closed off the tension, so I don't have a problem with the loop of the clasp opening up. It's just easier. Okay, so I'm coming out of the spacer bead, and now I have to go around the loop, so I'll get 3 beads on one side. I'm actually through 2 and then 1 on the other side with the clasp, and then I'll take the other 3 on the other side. So take as many steps as you need to go back through all these 6 seed beads and the loop of the lobster clasp. The important thing is that you take them all and you go through them all in the right order. Then we go back through the spacer bead. We're going to move along the first 2 beads of the flower. And then I'll make another knot. You know that I prefer making 1 knot extra rather than 1 less knot. Just want to be sure. Don't want my work to open up and to lose my creation. So better safe than sorry, I think you say in English. Don't know how you say it in Italian. We probably have some way of saying it, but it doesn't come to mind right now. I'll get back to you about it. And this is it. So we finish this side. We have to cut off this thread that we've just closed up. Always pull on your thread nice and tight before cutting it with your scissors, because it's a hard thread to cut through since it's more than one filament, just like firelands. So pull on it before putting your scissor next to it, and I've cut it. And now we'll switch sides and finish off the other side of the necklace. I've already taken off the stop bead and I've added my thread, my needle, sorry. I'll add 7 beads in this case, because for the jump ring we don't have the problem of the ring not going through the seed beads. So I'll switch to my odd number beads and I can add them all together. So 7 seed beads, and then I go through my jump ring, and just like before I'll go through my spacer bead and the 2 flower beads on the other side of the flower from where the spacer bead was added. There you go. Then we go and make a knot. So same thing, the only thing that changes on this side is that you actually add 7 seed beads for the loop and that you're actually adding them all together. That's the only difference. Going back through all the beads on the flower to be able to go back through the spacer bead first and then the 7 beads that compose my loop, making sure to go through them in the correct order. And by going through all 7 beads, you'll get through the jump ring in automatic, so that's not a problem. Back through the spacer bead as well. Then I'll move to 1 or 2 of the flower beads so that I can make another knot. Here we go. Always check your thread path to not get your thread stuck somewhere before you close it off. Pull through another loop bead, and then we're ready to cut. So we pull on the thread while we cut with the scissors. And that's my necklace all done. That's all for today, bead friends. I hope you enjoyed the new tutorial. It's a revisitation. I'm enjoying revisiting all of my old tutorials and making something new out of them. By changing up just the materials or the colors, you get a totally different effect, and I love experimenting with this kind of thing and showing you different ways to get the different projects from the same tutorial. As you can see, I've made as well the version of the Flora in Maxi, which you can find already on our shop. So that's another idea. And if you want to buy one of the kits for the necklaces, you can go on our site, which is www.happybead.it. As always, you can leave me a comment or any questions you have on the tutorial below. I love seeing your comments and questions. Make sure to click the bell below so that you can get all the notifications when a new tutorial comes up. I have quite a few lined up for the next season. And you can follow us as well on Instagram as Happy Bead Milano or on Facebook as Happy Bead La Fabbrica delle Perline to get lots of beady ideas. I'm going to be showing you in the next few days how to wear this necklace with another 2 that I've actually made and that look great together. So I'll see you soon. Thanks again and take care. Thank you.